Okay, fitting allowance is very, very important, and we're going to talk a little bit about very shortly here how to calculate what the fitting allowance is for a fitting. Now, there are takeoff charts and things like that, but this is really the surefire way of doing it. The first thing is you're going to need a piece of pipe. This should have a standard thread on there, threaded for whatever diameter it is, the appropriate depth. And then what you're going to need is a surface to put this on and a measuring device. So right here I have 5 1/8. We need to know that, jot that down, 5 1/8. Then what I'm going to do is actually assemble one of the fittings on here. And I'm not just going to make it hand tight. I'm actually going to put it in a vise and make sure that this is nice and torqued when I'm taking the measurement for the fitting allowance. Once that's all torqued, okay, again, got to make sure that this is as tight as it would be if you're assembling it in your assembly so that it won't leak. And then what you do is bring your same pipe up here and measure to the center of this fitting. And so I know right here I have basically 5 1/8 to 5 3/4. Okay, so that's going to give me 5/8 of an inch as far as the fitting allowance for this. So in other words, if I want to go from center to end, I need to make sure that there's 5/8 less length of pipe. Okay, that's basically what I need. That means. Now, the other way to do stuff is, and sometimes it's important to know, is that I get the same length here of my pipe, and I'm seeing the same 5 1/8. But then what I'm going to do is run this in, and I'm going to torque this bushing down. Now I'm torquing this bushing down, and now I'm going to take a measurement underneath of the bushing, and it looks like 4 3/4. 5 1/8 from 4 3/4, that's 3/8 of an inch. That means that I have 3/8 of an inch of this thread going into here. And sometimes that's very important to know, because when I want to install this fitting, I need to know from the outside of this fitting up how much longer the pipe needs to be, and I might need to attack things that way. One other place to find that you may want to do that is with a union, a threaded union. Same deal applies. You know exactly how lengthy your pipe is end to end, and then what you do is actually install this on here, torque it down to whatever it's supposed to be so it doesn't leak, and then measure underneath, and it looks like I have about 4 1/2. So that gives me a total of about 5/8 is, actually, let me measure that again. My apologies. Nope, that's about 4 3/4. So it looks like I do have about 3/8 of depth going from outside here to inside here. Now, why is that important? Because if I test the other side and I find out that they're both 3/4, then what I can do is I can measure outside to outside of my fitting here, and I have about 1 3/4. So if I have a total of 3/4 in here, then the effective length of this is only about 1 inch. So what I need to do is that if there's a union here out of my pipe size, I only need to take a 1 inch off of one of the pipes, or take a 1/2 inch off of either pipe in order for allowance for this union to be able to sit in between. Now, again, the union very quickly is important, because what it allows you to do is thread a pipe onto this backside over here, and then thread a pipe onto this side here. And then without actually making this spin, I can put these two together and then use this nut that actually spins. Okay, now I am going to spin the pipe to get it to go, but I can just spin the pipe here, and these aren't spinning, so they're static, and I can make that go together to get a nice seal there.